Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got quite a nice rack. No bingo here, but balanced and all the tiles are different. And I have a choice between, I think, Mux and Zoo, very similar to the last game. However, in this instance, I think the M helps AEST by a lot. Does it help it by 6 points? Mux would score 6 more points, and I think it will help it by about that much. I think the M is a great tile to go with AEST, so I'm going with this. Well, do I have a bingo? So hard to be sure with words which begin BE. Nothing is jumping out at me with this rack. Well, yes, what about M-based? I think that's good. Does that play? And that's part of the problem with playing Zoo, it doesn't take an S. So one can end up with a bingo which doesn't play. Mind you, the same thing could have happened with Mux. So I have nothing which goes underneath the Q. I don't have a bingo beginning with M. I have no N. Do I have a bingo going through the U? No. Okay, well, this isn't a great position to be in. I'd like to get rid of the B, and that may not be possible. I can play the M, in which case this is the best I can do, and this is just 9 points, which is totally grim and provides easy scoring for opponent, and I'm retaining the B, which isn't particularly bingo-y, so a frustrating start to this game. So what if I played Bus? 17 points. Abuse, 19 points, keeping Met. I think I'd rather keep Beast. So me for 9. Well, no 7 leaping to mind, but the B was a non-bingo-y tile, so I had less confidence that I would be getting one. Well, I have absented through an E. Wow, look at that, fantastic start for opponent. Can I reply with a bingo of my own? And I'm looking at the O. Not seeing anything through that. How about the L? Well, blandest, but that doesn't quite fit, and I don't think it has an anagram. So I'm not seeing anything. How to sort this rack out. So I could play Ben. 30 points, decent score. Rack leave deteriorating, especially with the absence of an E. So is there anything else I should be considering? This doesn't feel great. But I'm not seeing anything better. And wow, this is a strange game. Games often feel like you go through some sort of narrative arc, and I feel in this instance I started off with fantastic racks and they appear to be just getting worse and worse, and I trail. And this is a particularly grim rack now, very unbalanced, just the one vowel. And the V and W. And opponent will have a scoring spot probably underneath OB. Indeed. So I now trail by 80. What to do here? I'm minded to change. Well, no, I'm not going to change. I'll play Vorti. This sorts the rack out and scores 15 points. Slightly better. but not seeing a 7 here, and not too many floaters on the board, mainly the ones I've just laid down, and the V and W are not bingo-y floaters, and I'm not seeing anything through the A. Wow, fantastic bingo by opponent. Do I now have a bingo? I would have Goadster through an E. I don't think that has an anagram. I now trail by 130. Is there a bingo through the I? Not seeing one. How about the L? Gold star, not good. No, not seeing anything. So what to do here? Quite tempted to play drag, create a second 9-timer lane. I trail by a huge amount. 17 points. Not great. Am I missing anything? Well, I think the only thing I'm missing is a bingo, which would be a big miss, but I've had a look and I can't find one. So I have Softener through the E of Twirlier and then Forest. I have Reinforced through the R, but not as a 9-timer. I'm not seeing anything through the D. So opponent may end up getting both triple word squares. I guess I could play Frond, but that's not going to be a big score. Now, is Softener blocked? I think it is, and Resoften likewise, and then Forest. So all my E bingos are blocked. I do have Reinforced down from the first R in Twirlier. What about onto the D? Not seeing anything, so I am going with the bingo for 72. Great, that's a much more balanced rack. Not seeing a bingo with this rack, either a 7 or an 8. And there are no super hot Z spots unless I can utilise the triple letter square to the left of the O in Frown. But I'm not sure I can get that to play twice. My O or I can go to the left of the F, but I'm not seeing any IEZ or OEZ plays. I have Zonda through the D of Drag, but I am expecting my opponent to play there. I have Rons through the R of Reinforced. Yeah. So, great, just 24 points for opponent. I trail by 110. And I'm slightly concerned that Rons blocks the board up. There is a bingo lane in column 2. It's not a great one. And there's the T of Reinforced, there's the I of Twirlier, but Rons, it's not terrible, but is there something better? I have Zonal on my rack, which could play down here. Let me see what this scores. 48 points, good score. Ropey rack leave, very vulnerable. And of course I'm gifting opponent a Z play and obstructing the I of Twirlier, but I'm leaving alone column 14, which Rons took out. Is this the play? Is there a play through the T of Reinforced? No, not that I'm seeing. Well, this doesn't feel great, but I do trail, and I'm going with it. Great, I draw a blank, and in fact it's the first of the two. Triplicate I, not great. I would have Zitty if opponent doesn't play in the top row, but I am expecting him to do so. I have Leary on my rack, but I'm going to really struggle to score with this rack. And it may be that I change. Gosh, I would have Virility through the V, were it to be way to the left. No Y available. Yeah, 45 points for opponents, so would Ron's have been better? I don't know. So what I'm looking for is an opportunity to play off 2 I's. And it would be great to score well, but that's going to be a struggle. Unless there's a bingo, which I haven't seen. Now, in row D, I would have... Gosh, I was thinking of Militaria, but that's a 9-letter play. But row D is available for bingos ending IA. So I would have Militia, but that would not be a bingo and would burn the blank. Well, tempting to change. I'm not seeing anything. So I'm going to get rid of 2 I's and the L. That looks a lot nicer. I should be bingoing this turn. Column 2 is available for bingos ending ED. And I'm waiting for one to come to mind. I have trailed. Okay. Do I have a second anagram on the right-hand side of the board? And I surely do. Now, do I have a triple row O? Gosh. Nothing's immediately leapt to mind, but, well, I'm going to have to consider this. 11 minutes on my clock. Trihedral is a 9, that doesn't work. So I'm going to go through the alphabet straight away. This rack plus an H. So I would have the head ending, but not a bingo there. Death beginning. So it could end LED. Do I have writhled? Let's find out. Writhled for 149. Bang! I do. Fantastic. Back in the game. 1 point between us. Superb. Well, I'm delighted with that. I don't think writhel is good. I think it's only with a D. And there was no point in looking for anything better, I don't think, because the H covered the double letter square, so nothing else would have scored more. It would just be about vowel placement. Great, just 29 for opponent. I'm wondering if A8 takes a D. But even if it does, what do I have? I have bide, keeping double P. This is a tricky rack to sort out, because I'd like to play off B, P and D. I can do that with bipod, but where does that play? It plays in column 2, but not for a big score. Let me see what bide scores. 32 points. Let me check the remaining vowels. 11 out of 22, so pretty good. Duplicate P, not a disaster. 32 points. And A8 may not be good, but I think it is. I'm certainly going to try it unless I come up with something better. What about a play in row B? Not seeing anything. What about a better play in column 14? No. Now bipod does play down here. 21 points. What to do? So I trail by 30. There's still a blank to come. Wow, bide only 3 tiles. Bipod turns over 5. And there are bingo lanes on the board, especially column 2. I've got 2 Ds and there are no Ds to come, so that spot may remain available. Interesting. So what if I play bipod this turn? I would be leaving a spot for, say, Yode, or even a 3-letter play. Might be handy. This is certainly sorting the rack out. Opponent might infer that I don't know a mated by my burning of the D. I am going with this. I quite like the idea of getting the last blank. And I do. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So, I now trail by 9. 29 for opponent. 7 tiles in the bag. I have Pintado on my rack. I don't think that plays. 8 minutes on my clock. So there's row D for bingos ending IA. That doesn't look particularly good with this rack. And I have painted. And P in second place, not massively useful, especially when you look at the remaining tiles. I think this is the play. Maybe Patine better in terms of vowel placement. 475. Phew, I thought that was going to be rejected for a moment. And the bag's empty. I can see what opponent's got, and it's not great, and I lead by 40. This is crazy. I had such a tragic start to the game, which I'm sure we'll find out was entirely my own errors. So I have gins, row D. 38 points. That might be enough to see me home. Opponent will know what I've got, and opponent is good. Look at this, 1927 rating. So if there is a win here for opponent, I think there's a jolly good chance he is going to find it. But I lead by 30 odd. Opponent's only got the K for score. So, supposing opponent does block gins, well, I have Peasons in row A for a big score, retaining the J, and I have 2 spots for just the J. I have Jar and Joe. And I think, wow, is Piscenes good? I think it is. I may be reluctant to play that in case it takes an E in front. Opponent may not play off both E's first go. But Peason's certainly good. 36 points. So Peason's and gins, 38. So I've got 2 big 30-point plays. Opponent could block both of them. But how's he going to do that? Not easy for him. Does he have anything which goes after the I? I don't think he does. Well, just the O. So he could play Geo, G-E-O, and that would scupper both of my big plays. But then can he go out with Luke? Or Lecue, it's anagram. And maybe I should be looking to find a better or an alternative play in case my 2 identified plays are blocked. I can't get my J to play twice. Okay, opponent does find a way of blocking and scoring 41 points. Crazy, and Painted wouldn't have allowed that. Gosh, maybe I should have looked harder or thought more about that column 2 play. I trail by 4. Opponent's got Goel. Goel and La is good. And I'm sure he'll have another out somewhere. Gosh, I was feeling in a strong position. I'm not feeling in a strong position now. 6 minutes on my clock. Where can I play my J? Not easy. And I trail by 4. So I've got G'd, J-E-E-D, for 20 points. I have G, 23 points. I'm not sure that's going to be enough. This does block Goel, and I haven't identified a second out for opponent, but I'm prioritising my own rack at the moment. I think I have to play the J. I can't conceive that I can score enough to withstand the countback. So I'm looking for J spots. I don't think I can play the J with the C. Very few floaters to consider. I'm not seeing any front extensions of azoic. I'm not seeing anything in column 3, so that's pretty dead. So let me see if G is enough in this spot. That's 23. I lose 12 on count back, so this is an 11-point play. I trail by 4, so our opponent needs 7 to draw. Has he got 7? Surely he has. Just looking at these patined floaters. So pretty much any out is going to win for opponent. And he may... Wow, he's got ogled onto the D. G is a losing play. What can I do? 4 minutes on my clock. So, is there somewhere I haven't considered? Gobos is good. GI is good. Not seeing anything. Show G is good, but opponent's got this spot in row M. 11 points. And it's 9 for ogled, so the best I've seen is G. What about G's? Only 17. What am I missing? 3 minutes on my clock. Just so few spots. J-O is good. If only I could get Jar to play twice, and I can't. What about Jested? 22 points, that's not as much as G. Do I have anything down column 14? Wow, if I could get my J tripled, but I don't think I can. Onto a T, I would have Egypt. So I think the best I can see here is G's, 22. Just doesn't do the job. 2 minutes on my clock, and I am going to use this time. I thought I was back in this game. No front extensions for XIS. Benj is blocked. Revs is good, but I don't have any J spots with that. No T for upjet. I have kanji, but that doesn't get doubled. Nothing beginning ET. 1 minute on my clock, and if I don't find anything, I'm playing G. But is there something I'm overlooking. Just can't see it. Nope, I can't see it. I'm going with G for 23. Rats. So close. And opponent now has ogled. I've not seen any other outs for him. Yeah, he finds it. And the final score, 477 for me, 479 for my opponent, a winning margin of 2 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. Wow, that was close. Unnecessary risk with Heath. Well, possibly, but I think you're unfortunate whenever you're tripled against. And you can't judge a move by what happens in a single game. So here we go. It was me to go first, and I play Zoo, and I still like that. I think Mates is 16 points better than AT. AT is quite nice, probably worth 2, but Mates must be worth pushing 20. So I would say there's definitely a 16-point difference. Now opponent's rack plays Chi. So did I miss a bingo here? Oh, I didn't, phew, but I really didn't like this play. I thought about Bemuse and probably some of these other ones, but I was trashing the rack. So let me consider this. I played me, keeping Beast. Is Beast 13 points better than AT? And this was effectively the calculation I was doing. I thought it was, but AT, as before, probably worth about 2, and Beast probably worth at least, well, somewhere between 15 and 20. So I think there is a 13-point difference. So I don't think me is terrible. It was just frustrating when I was hoping to bingo. Now a great bingo by opponent Loris's, and here we go. No bingo here, and I played Ben for 30, and felt that I was playing badly, but there's been no moves. Oh wow. We'll come to that. It looks like there may have been a win towards the end. So, opponent plays Gov. And this is my rack. And I played Vorty for 15. Dort available D10. And Met. Interesting, keeping the V. Difficult to compare. I really don't like keeping the V. It feels very non-bingo-y. Now, opponent's rack, and superb spot from an unpromising rack. Gourd Eaters! Wow, what a miss! What a miss! High probability bingo. Column 13, Gourd Eaters. Okay, I missed that. I played Drag. Opponent plays Frown, and now look at this. I trail by about 170 points. My rack, and I got Reinforced, and its anagrams also available. Horrible rack for opponent. Plays Yord. And Zorilla, A12. Where's that? Gosh, through the owl. Very nice. And it's where I played Zonal. But, so there we have Zonal for 48 and Zorilla for 56. So Zorilla better. Opponent plays Zoic. And I change here. And Turity L7 may be worth doing. Well, yeah, very difficult to say. Not a disaster not playing it. Now, opponent plays Heath for a big score. And look at that, Rithold for 149, the only bingo. So now just 1 point between us. Opponent plays a mate, and I choose to play Bipod, which doesn't appear here because I wanted to trash the rack to maximise my chances of drawing the blank. and I was also retaining the D for a mated, which, as you can see here, was good. Opponent's rack, not great, but a good score and splitting up the duplicate U with IU. And here we go. I chose patined rather than painted, but antipodal B3 also available, and that would have been a better play. Yeah, because it wouldn't have provided access to a triple word square. So I played patined. Great play by opponent of Uke. And now ejected L7. Oh, wow. Ejected onto TED. Ouch. 25, yeah, and in particular burning the J and the C. Wow, so close. Maybe I should have carried on for that extra minute looking for it, but ejected was there. That would have won the game. I missed it. And opponent's only out is ogled, which was enough for him to win by 2. So, what an absolutely sensational game. I was dead and buried. I was 170 points behind. The 9-timer triple writhed brought me right back into the game. We were then neck and neck going in towards the end game. I bingo with patined, and then superb play from opponent in playing Uke to really put the pressure on me. I did have a win, but it was absolutely essential that I found the word ejected onto TED. I spent 7 minutes looking for it and failed, and that was enough to secure my demise as opponent went out with ogle to win by 2. So, completely epic game. Many thanks to my opponent for a great battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.